So thank you everyone for joining us this week. Again, my name is Rachel Phillips and I am one of the health coaches with Incenta Health. Carissa, can you still not hear me? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Carissa, I'm not sure if that's maybe your, okay. Carissa, I think that might be your computer problem. So I'm hoping that you can figure that out. Thank you for those of you that said that you could hear me. That's always helpful. Again, my name is Rachel Phillips. I'm one of the health coaches for Incenta Health. And this is your weekly wellness chat with a health coach. In true fashion, we're going to start out with a little bit of an icebreaker. I do invite you to take yourself off mute, answer, throw it in the chat, whatever works best for you. And then throughout the course of this session, feel free to throw a question in the chat, take yourself off mute, take yourself off video, whatever, put yourself on video, whatever works best for you. I love the engagement. So this week's fun icebreaker is if you could be an animal, what would you be? Any animal. I think I personally would be a house cat that gets a good sunny nap every day. A marmot? Are those the ones that you see at like the top of 14ers, marmots? Jillian says a bird. She thinks it would be cool to have the ability to fly. Yes. And scare people, Jillian. Anna says she would like to be a gazelle. Is it for the running, Anna? Or is it
yes, for the running, the agility, it's like, and the feel good.
Yeah.
Run and I'm
absolutely
by all means nothing of that like that.
Maybe you really like the warm weather in Africa. I think that's where gazelle are from. Perfect. Well, thank you all. We start each of these with one of those silly questions. So awesome. So as many of you might know, February is Heart Health Month. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for both men and women in the United States. So we find it very necessary to talk about heart health. Lisa, what's a Clydesdale? Like the horse? Are those the ones that are Budweiser?
Clydesdale horses that have the big fur on their feet. They can run. They're cuddly. Everybody loves to see them. They're known as the Budweiser horses.
Yes, they're what
huge.
I was thinking.
Yep, they're huge and beautiful, of course. Yep. They're just, I don't know, to be able to see them out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go roam with them.
That would be so cool. It would be fun to be an animal that could graze all day and not gain any weight, right? So heart health, yes, February is Heart Health Month. So let's dig into what heart health means and how we can take care of ourselves. Just a reminder, we have all of these sessions recorded with a short blog post. You can go to our website, incentahealth.com/wellness chats and find all of these recordings and all of the information. If you miss a week or if you want to share any of this, feel free. So why is heart health important? A lot of us have probably heard the go red for ed, where you're red for heart health, all of those. And again, cardiac disease is the #1 cause of death for both men and women in the United States. It didn't used to be that way, but with Western culture, we have a lot more fast food, trans fats, and we live a pretty sedentary lifestyle in the United States. So what affects our heart health? A little bit of everything. So stress being one of them. And the stress of a pandemic is certainly not helping. So I'm hopeful that you all have good self-care and good stress management tips. We can talk about that a little bit later. Our nutrition plays into it. Foods that are high in trans fats. Trans fats aren't found in nature. So if you were to grow all of your own food, none of them would have trans fats. It doesn't matter if it's an animal product or not. Trans fats are man-made, and they typically are in fried foods, things like French fries, hamburgers, chicken strips, those types of things. And then foods that are high in saturated fats also lend to heart disease. Saturated fats tend to be hard at room temperature. So if you think of cheese would be a saturated fat, any fat that comes on some sort of meat is all saturated because it's hard at room temperature. Unsaturated fats tend to be liquid at room temperature and are a little bit more heart healthy. Those are your oils, your canola oil, olive oil, vegetable oils, as well as like butter, margarine, or trans fats. So when we talk about fats, that's that difference. High cholesterol. There is science that shows that our cholesterol reading is more impacted by our physical activity rather than what we're eating. And that high fructose corn syrup actually lends to higher cholesterol than eating a lot of cholesterol. So it is okay for you to eat eggs. Eggs are not, they've actually been disproven to raise your cholesterol, but if you drink a lot of soda or consume a lot of foods with high fructose corn syrup and you have high cholesterol, that's one really easy way to knock those cholesterol numbers back. A personal yes.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, Leslie, I'm gonna mute you. Personal anecdote, I was diagnosed with high cholesterol. When I thought it was genetic. I was really, really young, like 20 years old, diagnosed with high cholesterol. And when I was in, dietetics school, I was like, no, let me try cutting out high fructose corn syrup, which is hidden in everything. And I'll come back and you can redraw my blood in 6 months. And I did that, and I dropped my own cholesterol by over 50 points just by cutting out high fructose corn syrup. So you too, if you have high cholesterol, let's chat and we can find ways for you to drop that. If you are familiar with cholesterol and like what they test for at the doctor, it's your triglycerides. So the actual fat in your bloodstream, your LDL, which is low density lipoprotein. So how is the fat being transported? And then your HDL, that high density lipoprotein. The LDL is known as the bad cholesterol. That HDL is known as the good cholesterol. So we want a lower LDL number and a higher HDL number. I don't remember those off the top of my head, but if you have any questions about that, let me know and I can do some digging. Limited physical activity. I think we all know that affects our heart health. The more sedentary we are, the more issues that we have. We tend to not feel as good. Things slow down, including our heart. We get some more issues with that. Obesity affects heart health. Your heart just has to work harder to get blood through your entire body if you are in that overweight or obese category. But you're here, so you are taking step one to achieve and maintain that healthy BMI. High blood pressure, all of these are kind of interrelated. High blood pressure affects our heart health. Being obese can affect our blood pressure. Stress, smoking is one of those secret ones that gets you. So if you are a smoker or have excessive alcohol use, paring back on those things and quitting those substances will definitely help. And then diabetes also has an effect on our heart health. Primarily type 2. And again, you probably can go, hey, I know somebody that has one of these things and a couple other of them. That's called having comorbidities, which is common with heart health issues. So how do we take better care of our health? Again, you are in the right place. The Incenta Health platform gives you a whole library of physical activity. We give you a whole library of meal options and meal plans. We look at all of those meal plans so they are low in that saturated fat, high in fiber, which helps kind of glean onto everything in our blood. So your cholesterol, if you eat more fiber, that's why Cheerios works. If you eat more fiber, the fiber takes that fat and helps you get rid of it. So exercise, eating those good meals, and then managing stress. If you all haven't already checked out, we do have a series of different meditations, and we're coming up with more of those. So keep your eyes open for more of those meditations. So we do have some of these things to help you get in the right direction to protect your heart health. What else can we do? So eating a healthy diet. So eating a diet in low in trans fats and saturated fats. Again, those fats that are found in primarily fried foods and processed baked goods. So things that you don't make at home, but like you go to the bakery and buy donuts, those types of things. And those saturated fats, you want to lean more on plant-based fats. There's two plant-based fats that are a little bit wonky, and that's avocado and coconut oil. Those two are a little bit different and they're a little bit of an anomaly. So eat those in extra moderation. We want to eat foods that are high in fiber. Diets that are high in fiber grab onto everything in the blood that we don't want in there. So things like fat. And eliminate it. Fiber also helps us feel not so sluggish. You can find fiber in your fruits and vegetables, whole wheat products, things that have like brown rice rather than white rice, things that still have that fiber intact. We want to reduce our added sugar, specifically high fructose corn syrup. It's the way our body metabolizes fructose versus other types of sugar. Fructose kind of says, I don't want to listen to the plan, and it goes first. So everything else just kind of hangs out until that fructose is out. This is not to say don't eat fruit. Fruit has a benefit, even though it has that fructose in it. We just want to pare back on that high fructose corn syrup. It's in a lot of things. It's in condiments, bread, dressings, anything that you can come up with. There might be high fructose corn syrup in it. You can always read the label to figure out if that product has high fructose corn syrup in it or not. And then finding our protein from non-animal sources. And if we do eat an animal source of protein, making sure that it's a lean meat. Again, eggs are a really good source, chicken, turkey. We want to pare back if we do have heart-related issues. Let's pare back on cow and pork specifically, and replace those with leaner protein options or animal protein options. Fun fact, gram per gram, broccoli has more protein than steak. You don't have to, that's like my favorite thing of like, I personally don't eat steak, and I tell people that. I'm like, I don't need to. I really love broccoli. So add in more broccoli and beans, and you'll hopefully not miss your steak. I know that's asking a lot. We do offer currently three different meal plans. We're adding a fourth here soon. Our standard meal plan, our gluten-free, and our vegetarian meal plan options. Our standard does include meat. Our vegetarian does include eggs. We are coming up with a Mediterranean-based diet that'll include more fish. And fish fats are really good for you as well. Those omega 3s and omega 6s are really beneficial. So what else can we do to protect our hearts? One of the biggest one is to manage your weight and to drop those excess pounds. You can do that again by being in a calorie deficit, by eating fewer calories, watching those portions, making those easy swaps. Broccoli is a lot lower in calories than steak, but you're still getting the same amount of protein. You're getting more protein. Getting physically active, even if it's just a 10-minute walk around the block twice a day, moving our bodies to get our blood pumping is really helpful to protect our hearts. Moderate your drinking. I think it is currently recommended that men have no more than 2 drinks per day. Women have no more than 1 drink. And this is alcohol drinks per day. If you need professional support, I highly encourage you to seek that out. A lot of employers I know offer those types of benefits. And the biggest one is to stop or at least slow. I know it is really difficult to stop cold turkey if you are a cigarette smoker, but that tobacco use, yes, smoking cessation is a big deal. So if you are a smoker, consider stopping. Awesome. That is Heart Health Month for you. Do we have any questions around any of this information before we give you next steps for next week? You can throw your question in the chat, take yourself off mute, whatever works best for you. Awesome. You all are quiet this week. So next week, and then every the Wednesday of the month, we are going to do a Q&A, so you can submit any of your questions via this Google form with this link. Let me drop that in the chat for you all. Lisa, yes, I can send you a copy of the PowerPoint. Would it be easier for you to get a copy of the recording, or do you want the PowerPoint itself?
PowerPoint, please.
Okay, I can do that. Yep. Dana, that is a really good question. I think it's a suggestion, right? Like when we look at a population as a whole. So Dana's question, for those of you that don't have the chat open, is why are the alcohol limits different for men and women? If it's a body size thing, shouldn't it be by weight? So I think it's a recommendation as a whole. Typically men are larger in stature than women. And we also have different metabolisms. And I'm wondering if that's what kind of plays into that as well, is men just, their metabolisms work a little bit more efficiently than women. But I can definitely do some digging into the why if you would like me to, Dana. Any other questions? I'm just writing down Dana's questions. Perfect. So I dropped a link into the chat. If you have any health related questions, it doesn't have to be on a specific theme. I just ask that they are suitable for work type of health questions. Feel free to submit them on that Google form, or you can email us at personal.trainer@incentahealth.com with the subject line Q&A entry. Your question, if you submit one, will be anonymous. So it's not going to be like, oh, Lisa, she asked this question. I won't call you out. And if you want us to follow up with you directly with your question, there is a space for you to leave your name and information, and a health coach will get in contact with you. As always, we invite you to connect with us. Email any of your questions, comments, concerns. We're here to help. We can be reached at personal.trainer@incentahealth.com. That email is open 24/7. We have somebody manning the phone and the chat option Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That in-app or online chat option is available, super duper easy. You just have to connect in your app and then hit the chat button. And then we invite you to connect with us on social media, facebook.com/Incenta Health or /Incenta Health, Healthy at Home. And with that, I'm going to stop the recording. I'll hang out for just a little bit. If you have any other questions,